That's what it's all about, boys.
Nice fish. Nice first fish of the day. That ain't bad. Any fish on top water is a good fish.
Yes, it is. Come here, Bubba. I don't want a face full of... North branch of the Susquehanna. The backwoods angler today. We're in the Endless Mountains in Pennsylvania. Smallmouth bass fishing. It's September. These fish are starting to fatten up for the winter. I'm Blaine Mangle. Come on back. This is just getting started right here. Let's go.
Backwoods Angler TV, your freshwater fishing authority for the northeastern United States.
Here's one. They're crushing it, man. They are really hitting it. The ones that are hitting it are really crushing it. That topwater smallmouth. We're on the north branch of the Susquehanna. I'm with Chris Gorsuch, my associate guide today. He's hosting us on his boat. We're after smallmouth bass in Pennsylvania. September usually on this river, Chris, they start eating topwater pretty good, probably about late September, early October. We're at the beginning of that.
We're about a week early.
Yeah, we're trying to get a few on topwater to start today, and these fish are nice fish up here too, and you know you'll see through this show, you'll see the opportunities that lay up here, you know, and the scenery, and Chris regularly sees bald eagles. You see bear up here?
I have not, but I know a lot of people. Like my buddy Greg has seen him swimming across the river. I see a lot more bear on the Upper Delaware, believe it or not. I see them quite frequently. It's just a beautiful place. It's God's mountains for sure.
What are we fishing? 3 feet of water here?
Yeah, at most.
3 feet of water.
3-4 foot of water.
This is just a light to moderate run over a rock. I mean, this is just it's like water running over a ledge. Basically, you got ledges and rocks, and I mean it's prime smallmouth habitat. The crayfish population up here is sick. I mean, there's so much for these fish to eat, and I think that's why their bellies are just, they got shoulders on them up here. So we are going to try and get a few more. Stick around.
Come on, smack this thing.
Crank?
Nope, still top water.
Top walla!
You said you want top water. He's not a dandy.
Hey.
But you got to start somewhere.
Hey, man.
Now listen, you go back and tell your grandmother there's a nice young man, well, let's say middle-aged man, looking forward to meeting her.
Good. Chris has us just kind of drifting, like a controlled drift down this bank. This is a shaded bank. First thing in the morning, you got a beautiful mountain ridge here. And every so often, these big boulders and rocks that come out, these kind of bluffy, flat rocks will come out, and they create these little cuts. I want to throw it real tight to the bank as the topwater lure swings out into the current. That's where they're grabbing it. It's like it's very early in the retrieve, but they seem to be right on the edge of the current. Chris told me to switch off that topwater lure to a salty shad. He knows his stuff. That's a crawdad belly there, I bet.
Nice fish.
Yep.
Very nice fish.
Go back. This is going to be fun. We're gonna do a couple different things today too.
You're gonna tear
After the trolling motor gets torn off the boat. This water's really shallow here. Chris
It
is
is.
drifting through water. This water isn't, I don't know, just above the ankles, maybe mid shin.
Yeah, it's probably about 12 inches.
Shallow water. We're going to be targeting a lot of different stuff today. Some of these fish are shallow, but as the sun comes up, we might have to go deep. So come on, let's go get a few more.
Coming up on Backwoods Angler TV.
There's fish everywhere! There's fish everywhere! Oh, baby! The bottom line is we've caught fish on 6 different lures.
8.
8 different lures.
Hard and soft jerk baits, tubes, spinner baits, crankbaits, rattle traps.
That was a neat looking fish to me. When it comes down to it, we really don't know what we're doing.
Do you own an outboard jet motor? Backwoods Angler TV's new DVD, 30-minute PM Outboard Jet Preventative Maintenance, is sure to save you money from repairs, and it will keep you on the water and on the fish.
River fish live in nasty places.
The River Pro 186 Low Pro is the ultimate shallow water fishing machine.
Agile, aggressive, and armed to the teeth with all the angling ammo you'll ever need. With the Mercury Sport Jet, you'll fly over just inches of water, places no ordinary boat could go. River Pro, hard-bellied, all-welded, custom-built jet boats for the serious river fishermen like you.
This portion of Backwoods Angler TV is brought to you by River Pro Boats, custom-built jet boats for the serious river fishermen.
Those of you who watch Backwoods Angler TV know full well how much I'm into catching smallmouth bass. And I'll tell you, nothing beats catching them from some of the rockiest, most treacherous rivers in the northeastern United States. I've been in a lot of outboard jet boats in my life, and although they definitely open up more river to fishing, they have their limits. Then I came across the River Pro 186 Low Pro. It is by far the most durable and efficient jet boat on the market today. The River Pro 186 Low Pro is constructed with a flush-mounted jet intake, so there's literally nothing hanging below the hull. This construction minimizes drag, and there's less possibility of impact when running shallow water. And the Mercury Sport Jet allows for much easier handling, making it extremely agile even when running downstream. The all-welded hull of the 186 Low Pro is .190 thickness marine-grade aluminum, which allows much more margin for error when traversing shallow, rocky areas. This boat is all aluminum constructed and armed with everything a river smallmouth angler will ever need. Ample storage, a live well, lockable rod lockers, and much more. I am privileged to be able to fish some of the most prolific smallie flows in the entire world. And I am very privileged to be able to do it from my River Pro 186 Low Pro.
Salty shad?
Yep. That's a good bass right there. That is a good bass.
And that?
I don't think so. I switched to a salty shed. That was my second cast.
That was a good idea. Whose idea was that?
What was that? My boy Chris up there says, switch to a salty shed. Do you have one tied on? That's a very, very common North Branch smallie right there.
Nice fish, Blaine. Look at that shad out here in this little soft pocket. There you go.
That didn't take long. That's a big fish too. Oh, he came off. No, he didn't. He's running at me. Oh, good night.
Boy, that guy called 2 in a row.
I'll tell you what, this guy's good, man. Look at that heifer.
On the jerkbait.
Good typical average sized bass. Ladies and gentlemen, a crankbait bass. Hey Chris, when you're out here throwing a crankbait, What conditions, what situations help you determine what color and what depth you want your crankbait to run?
Well, I use the sonar for depth, right? So if I'm in
Not a bad fish.
4 foot of water, I'm throwing, you know, a 200, 4 to 6 foot of water, I'm throwing a 200 style bait. If I'm in less than that, I'll throw a 100. And I rarely go to a 300, although I will at certain times. I can usually get the 200 down deep enough to where I want to go. Nice little fish. Color is simple here. The darker the water, the darker the bait. So this is almost a see-through. And I'll throw jet black when the water's dirty here. Jet black, even if I have to paint it myself. They like orange, so anything with an orange or a light colored belly, and then the crawfish body. The lighter the water, the lighter color. There you go. You're on.
Another jerkbait fish. Chris has us right on the outside of this chute. And these fish are positioned, it almost looks to me, Chris, the boat is sitting in 9 or 10 feet here.
Yep, and you're casting into 3 or 4.
So there's obviously like a little hump there, and they're right on the edge of it. That's a good bass there.
Get the net.
Oof. Whoa, baby. That's a good fish, Chris.
Not bad.
I just got done saying we tailed out of that eddy, and I paused my jerkbait a little bit longer on that cast. I was ripping it pretty good. I was pausing it, but I really paused it longer that time, and that fish hit it right on the tail out. We got plenty more of that to come. I'm gonna put her back. Come on back and join us for some more on the North Branch of the Susquehanna. We'll be back in a few minutes. Wow.
I've made a decision.
See that? He came right back for it.
For 5 years now, the folks at Sportsman's Table have been dedicated to helping families make the most of their outdoor harvest. Active outdoorsmen will love the quality and selection found at sportsmanstable.com. Products include butchering supplies, seasonings and marinades, wildlife pottery, and rustic table decor. Whether for you or a unique gift for a family member or friend, Sportsman's Table has a lot to offer dinner tables all over America. www.sportsmanstable.com.
Oh, look at this water. Good night. Look at this spot. Look at all these current breaks. I don't know if you people can see downstream here. There's a gravel bar, there's current going this way, there's 3 or 4 current breaks right here. There's a chute coming under this bridge, and right between, and we're sitting in a chute. Chris has us sitting in a chute, and there's what I call a slot or a V, where the 2 currents kind of break off, and there's a V-shaped eddy there. That is a classic spot for smallies. We got another one right over here, same deal. You got the V-shaped eddy.
You know, you wouldn't think of it, but this is a great walleye spot too, even with this fast water. You wouldn't think walleye would be pounding these areas, but they are.
Here's a bigger one. How about that one? That was a little better. That fish hit it way up in the chute. Look at the fat though. That is cool. That fish has some cool color in it. See, look at the little, you see the little olive spots that one has on it? That is cool. That was a neat looking fish to me. I don't usually, I've seen so many of them. You were right, my friend. There was one slightly better one in there. Now, why wouldn't they be right in this one?
I've got no clue.
Spoken like a true guide right there. When it comes down to it, we really don't know what we're doing.
The bottom line is, think of the change-ups we did today. We caught them on top water, hard jerk baits, crankbaits, rattle traps, flukes, and now tubes.
6 different baits already.
Yep.
We've been out here, what, 3.5 hours?
3 hours, 3.5 hours.
And we caught fish on 6 different lures already. That shows you there's a lack of a pattern. There's plenty of fish, but lack of a pattern, you got to change it up. Sometimes just introducing another lure into a spot is all they need. They might be looking, say if you throw a tube in, they might just be looking at that tube saying, I don't know, but you throw a reaction bait like a crank or a jerk bait in there, it just might get that bait, that fish to go, you know, just changing the bait up. He spit up crayfish claw. Just puked up a crayfish claw. We switched to tubes here. What do the crayfish, what kind of colors do the crayfish have in them up here? Is it same as the main stem, or do they?
I think it's very similar. Orange is real popular here. You know, they're obviously brown. Their bellies, go from that blue to chartreuse to that almost that pale orange. Someone didn't tell him that you're a peanut. Hello.
That's a good bass right there. Good tube fish.
Absolutely.
Good tube fish. They got really fat bellies on them, man. That's a crawfish belly right there.
Well, Blaine, we've got very bright, high blue skies. We had a good run of fish this morning, but I think we're going to have to move and look for different water for this afternoon.
Yep, it looks that way. It looks like we're going to have to find some pocket water, some moving runs and pocket water off those islands and stuff like that. So you guys can go take a break. We're going to take a run. We'll be back in a moment.
When it comes to fishing, there's a fine line between failure and success. There's a fine line between winning and losing. There's a fine line between the trophy and just another fish story. That line is Gamma. Gamma, molecularly altered fishing line.
Do you own an outboard jet motor? Backwoods Angler TV's new DVD, 30-minute PM Outboard Jet Preventative Maintenance, is sure to save you money from repairs, and it will keep you on the water and on the fish.
Backwoods Angler TV, brought to you by Sportsman's Table. Gamma, molecularly altered fishing line. BioEdge fish attractants. Fish with the edge. BioEdge. Vinner Baits custom lures. Quality, durability, affordability.
There's one. A little better. Little better. That water, as we drove up through here, I said to Chris, I like that spot right there. We had an amazing flurry of bites up in some real fast kind of shoot water. How about that? There's fish everywhere! There's fish everywhere! Oh, baby! Yours is bigger. Spinnerbait! Add that to the list, huh? It's, you know what it is? Right place, right time, Chris. That's all this is.
It's a great fishery, and we proved it today. How many fish? Almost. We've gone through just about every, you didn't throw grubs, but I'm sure they would have worked. We got hard and soft jerk baits, tubes, spinner baits now we can add to it, crank baits, rattle traps, salty shad,
Yep. That's a nice one.
Top water. And it's only gonna get better. I mean, that's the grand thing about it.
Boiling. The water's boiling all over the place. Look at them. That's just like boiling over. That's a good one, though.
Oh, it is. Nice shoulders.
There we go. A little bit better than those dinks, huh?
Nice fish.
Yep. Look at the guts on these fish. I mean, they don't even look like river fish.
They don't.
They don't look like river fish. Look at that belly. I mean, that's a football. Go back home, babe. That was kind of interesting, too. The other ones are ticking it. The little ones are just kind of tapping it. That fish was just dead weight. Just dead weight on the tube. We've tried to put some kind of a pattern, so to speak, together today, and the bottom line is we've caught fish on 6 different lures.
8.
8 different lures. 8 different lures, and we've gone through spots. What did we go through that one spot 3 or 4 times?
Right.
And 2 times through we caught them, 2 we didn't. Come here, Bubba. You know, so it's right place, right time. This fall bite, and it isn't even fall yet. That's the funny thing about it. It's late summer, but these fish are starting to get into that kind of frenzied feeding pattern that they get to in the fall. How about them apples? You know, you've heard the proverbial fall frenzy. Well, this is classic. It's a flick of a switch sometimes. There's a bigger one coming in. Grab that jerkbait. You know, the bite will go crazy, and then all of a sudden it'll be like somebody turns the switch off and the fish don't eat for an hour, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 you can't do anything wrong again. What'd that one eat?
Spinnerbait.
That's a good fish. Good quality smallmouth, Chris. We caught some fish today, didn't we?
We really did.
A lot of different lures.
I'm tired.
I'll tell you what. We can do it again sometime, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
North branch of the Susquehanna River, the endless mountains. North central PA, would you say? Yeah.
I would say, yeah, north.
Yeah, north central PA. Check out the information for Chris's trips for the North Branch and Main Stem Susquehanna, backwoodsangler.com. Check the TV show website, backwoodsanglertv.com. I'm Blaine Mangle. Thanks for joining me on the North Branch of the Susquehanna River. Good fishing.
Tight lines, everyone.
Oh, that was a good one. Ah! Oh, I got another one. Oh, come on! I can't hook them. Backwoodsangler.com. The TV show is Backwoods. I caught a fish.